Hi guys, today we will see how you can configure a rate limiting policy SLA based in Mulesoft. So first of all you need to create a RAML and I have already created one RAML, customer order API, and here we have different endpoints. As you can see we have customer, I mean these are the types, and then we have these endpoints: products, orders, customer, health. So for the time being, we it is not relevant to us, and we have this traits where we have the client ID required and the header client ID and client secret are mandatory. So I have published this raml to exchange and also created an API instance in API manager. So this is the exchange, and let us go to API manager. So this is the instance of that API. Let's apply policy to this one. Search SLA based and do next. We don't need to configure much on this. The expression you can leave it as it is, and distribution as in you deployed your application to multiple workers. So all of those workers will apply this policy, and you also have advanced options like apply it to specific resource or method, but currently we are not seeing that. Do apply. So your policy is applied. After that you need to create SLA tiers, which you are going to create from here. Let us create two tier. One is silver, and we can say silver plan with 10 requests per minute, and it is an automatic approval. We can mention 10 request, time period is 1 minute. Add this. Let us create one more tier with gold, and we can say gold tier with 100 requests per minute. And we for this one we will going to keep a manual approver, and we can set 100 requests per minute. We have created two SLA tiers for this API, and let's ask for access, that means credential from exchange. So let me refresh this page and do a request access. So this is the instance we have created for that API in API manager, and let us create one application. Customer, let us say SLA, and use silver. Customer order dev SLA silver. Okay, and let's select the silver tier. So since it is auto approved, we get client ID and client secret. Let us also create one more for gold. Create one more application. Let us say customer SLA tier gold, and create this. Since it is a manual approval, so you won't be getting client ID and client secret. Now you can see those details under my applications. Here you can see the silver and gold. You can see the gold credentials now, but they will not work until you approve the request. And the request will be approved in API instance. So you need to go to contracts and you can see gold and silver. Silver is already applied, but you need to approve the gold one. So for the time being, we approve the gold one, and you're good to go. So I've scaffolded the raml into this application, and we have a endpoint name get customer. So we're going to test this. Let's run the application and copy the client ID and client secret for silver instance first. So this is the collection, and here in client ID will pass the silver client ID and the client secret. Once the application is deployed, you can see rate limiting SLA based policy is applied. And to apply this policy, you need to configure the API auto discovery. Here I have mentioned the API instance ID that you can see in API manager, and also added the platform client ID and client secret that you can see in the preferences, Anycon Studio, and API manager. So these are the client ID and client secret of my platform or environment. So now this policy is applied. I'll go to the postman and request access so I can get the response. So let us test this once. So let me go to collection, do a functional test, and I'm going to send 15 requests and run the test. So as you can see, okay, I haven't saved the collection yet. Let me save the collection and now perform that test. So that will be 15 iterations. So here you can see those 15 iterations, and out of which this is the first iteration, and up until ninth it got successful because one of request we already did earlier, and from the 10th it failed with too many requests. So we set an SLA tier of 10 requests per minute, and all of those requests are already consumed, so we're getting too many requests. Now let us test the cold one. We have 100 requests per minute, so let us go back to our application list and now select the client ID and client secret of the cold one. Let me do one request. I'm getting the response back. Let me save the collection and let's create one more test. Now I'm going to send 110 requests. So as you can see, most of the requests are successful. Let us see from the beginning. This is the iteration one. It is successful, and up until let's say 99 it was successful, and from 100 iteration onwards we are getting too many requests. It is because one of the requests we already consumed earlier, and the 99 were consumed here. Now for all other requests apart from these we will get too many requests. So this is how you configure rate limiting SLA based policy